Bryce, will you shut up for a minute? We gotta get you the fuck out of Dodge, man. We're going to Vegas tonight.
What are you talking about, Vegas?
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
Hey everybody, welcome back to take 2 of what was a very long introductory video on my description of the theory behind my 4 line. I came up with this the other day, about 4 or 5 days ago. I woke up and for some reason I had these patterns that were floating through my mind about past sequences I had seen on all of my previous sessions. And what that included were noticing that certain numbers within 10 lines were frequently showing up within the same line. So I decided to incorporate something new within my 4 lines, and that is starting off with my normal 5 lines that only pays, or that does pay, just 1 unit. The 4 lines, of course, pays 2 units. When working with the 4 lines, when you lose 1 line or lose 1 spin, by just doubling it, what you're doing is you're paying for that spin and also paying for the previous loss. I hope you go ahead and take some time, of course, today or whenever, that you can watch this whole video to give a really good description of what I'm talking about, my theory behind it, and how I approach this. So generally speaking, once again, I've noticed patterns in my life. I used to be a loss prevention manager and had a $4,000 case because all I was doing is thumbing through customer return vouchers back before the days we had computers, taking note of the memory of certain credit card numbers, and I noticed a sequence. It turned into a $4,000 federal felony offense. Anyway, having said that, let me go ahead and describe what's going on here. If you were to plot all of these numbers that are there, of course, on a wheel based on the coverage, it's going to show a really nice, tight grouping with all of those. Hypothetically speaking, these lines shouldn't show up for a while. So this brings me to the next point. When you're at a casino or you're playing a simulator, I suggest you go ahead and load the board with some numbers so you can get a better idea or a picture of where the patterns are happening at that time. Now, I mentioned patterns. What does that mean? Just in life, we have our ups and downs. If you look at the stock market, we have our ups and downs, and that narrows it down into each individual stock, of course. They have their fluctuations, which of course are manipulated or changed by catalyst news that force the stock to either go up and down. Same way holds true with a craps table, for example. You might see a large series of 7s, and you might see a large series of 6s and 8s, without 7s frequently coming up. And that is, again, because of the cycles that happen and the patterns that appear. Now, having said that, there are patterns, once again, that appear that I've noticed within certain lines. By changing the lines because of the previous loss, you're basically changing, in a sense, the quadrants where the ball lands. And as a result of that, what you're doing is you're actually forcing the wheel to focus more in on the neighbors. And what do you mean by neighbors? The neighbors are normally between 5 or lower spots on either side of the winning wheel, of the winning number on the wheel. It's my belief that this whole thing is a complete distraction. Now, the whole casino setup is nothing but an illusion, nothing but a distraction. Let's go ahead and take the slot machines, for example. The frequencies that are played are scientifically proven to produce dopamine in the brain. This, of course, gives somebody that really good feel-good feeling, and you match that between the spinning wheels and all the lights that happen, and it becomes a way to suck a person into the game. The same thing holds true for a person that's watching TV. They tend to get zoned out on it, if you will. So, having said that, I think let's go ahead and do a comparison contrast between that and the craps table once again. The craps table has large real estate. You have the field bets, you have the come bets that of course all the bets move into the numbers and so on and so forth. Narrowing it down a little bit more is you're going to have the come and the don't come. Now these are spaces that you put in case you don't know. You place your chips. If a 7 comes in, you lose. But after a point's been established, if a 7 comes in, you win. Okay. This is the only spot on a craps table that you can actually remove your money. Why? Is it's in the player's advantage because there are more odds of a 7 coming in than any other number, followed by the 6s and 8s. Now let's talk about the patterns once again. The patterns of that include you might see a large string of numbers before a 7 pops up, or you might have a series where frequently 7 pops up within 2, 3, or 4 spins. Okay. Now, back to the distractions. Distractions are the fact that it comes down to real estate is what I'm coming to. You look at a casino, slot machines take up most of the real estate. Why? It's because it brings the casino in more money because of the implemented things such as the frequencies I talked about, which play with the brain, and also the visual lights. Now, 6 years ago, knowing that, I went ahead and looked at the roulette wheel and tried to figure out the smallest bet on the table. And if I haven't said so, I hope you watch this all the way through, just because there's a lot of information, but not too much. The smallest bet that isn't really advertised is the line bet. If you go to a casino, how many people do you see playing the line bet? Very, very infrequently. And when you do so, you're going to garnish more attention from the pit bosses and from the dealers and so on and so forth. Why? Is because it is the smallest bet and there's a good potential, in my opinion. Okay. Mostly you see people dumping money in here or dumping money down in the black and the red. And what happens is they're putting stacks of $5 on each number. Well, they're not taking into consideration the quadrants that are happening on the wheel. Therefore, the ball has more of a chance to fall within a certain area because there are open gaps in the numbers, if you know what I mean. So let's say they lose, and they lose again, and they lose again. Well, they just happen to win. Are those 2 units or 3 units actually enough to cover the expense of what has been put into it already with that spin and previous spins' losses? My guess is no. Yeah, they might get a slow little dose of dopamine, if you will, because they won, which keeps them sucked into the game. What this strategy theory does is it focuses in on the largest amount of the quadrants of the wheel with the most coverage. The 5 line, again, pays 1 unit, if I haven't said this. I'm trying to remember what I said off of my previous take that didn't work out. Is each win with the 5 line pays 1 unit. Each win with the 4 line pays 2 units. Therefore, when you win, it pays back that unit plus the previous unit, bringing you back, of course, to the previous amount you had before the loss. Okay. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to go ahead and spin this out and see what happens. I guarantee nothing with the results. And I'm only starting off by doing this to kind of load up the numbers on the board. And I'll go ahead and play around with what's going on. But see, you can already see certain numbers kicking in. Now, let's talk about online gambling really quick. I hope you go ahead and take a watch to one video I produced called The Dangers of Online Gambling. And a personal lesson I had that taught me discipline. And in that video, I hope it also teaches you discipline to take your money and run. Alright? Within that video, it talks about the frequencies in which some online gaming, if you're gambling, keeps track of how you are betting based on my theory that they're keeping a cookie on their server or possibly a cookie on your computer which tracks how you're spending. So if you're playing a certain strategy or system, the computer's going to pick up on this and start throwing you curveballs, such as what is described in that video. Now, with me, I do all of my testing 2 sections. I do it on several different simulator platforms, And then of course I do it in live play, and I hope you definitely do the same for any strategy or system before you lay some coin on the line. There could be possibilities, there are anomalies that are set into this, and that's why I'm always skeptical until I can do it in real life. You know, a little setup costs what? 20 bucks, or yeah, 20 bucks at Walmart. Go get one. A little wheel, who cares? It's still random. Now, having said that, I've noticed in my 4-line plots that I've done on all of the roulette wheels, and I'm going to be doing a video explaining the quadrants and how they're covered, and how doing a slight change after a loss is going to play the neighbors, which is 5 spots either direction all the way throughout the board. Is it really necessary? No. Could that also be a ploy? Possibly yes. Do I think there's a way that you can possibly beat roulette? No. Is there a way that I believe that you can come up with a strategy that is going to beat the house edge to your advantage? And to this, I say yes, based on this 4-line strategy here. So what I'm going to do here as I keep rambling is I'm going to keep loading up the board. And with each win that you see, I'm getting, of course, 1 unit of $10. So I'm up 40 bucks already. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop there. Matter of fact, I'm going to clear the board because I'll do one more. Okay, that's fine. There's 50 bucks. Let's go ahead and stretch this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and clear it out and further load the board. See, that would have been a loss. Why? Is from my past experience that I've had doing all the testing, 4 spins is pretty much the comfortable average between a loss. That's why in all of my previous videos that talks about the 5-line, I suggest to people stick to 2 wins at the top tier. Why? Is it's significantly reduced your chances of losing within those 2 spins. And I say personally, based on my years of experience and hours, that 4 spins is maximum, because right here you have 80% of the board covered up with every spin, probability wise. Now I know there is a chance, there is an equal amount of chance that each number can come in based on the odds. 1 out of 38. Every number has the same odds. I'm trying to narrow it down to probability though. Okay. So let me clear it out. And I need to remember to keep clearing this. And as you can see here, you'll already see, with the exception of that ugly, stupid zeros, which you can't avoid, you already see somewhat of a pattern that's accumulating here. If you take a look at the board as I'm spinning them. See, we have a repeating number down there, 28. Okay, let's take a look. Let me do a couple more, because these are about the same amount of numbers that you're going to see on the board when you walk up at a casino. Okay. But basically, what I want you to do is consider the board when you walk up as a snapshot of the current patterns that are happening at that time. And what my strategy theory is to exploit those patterns that happen again in all the games, including 21. You know, the dealer is going to win a lot and have a big string of wins and losses, craps table and roulette. These are the patterns. So let's go ahead and plot these out and see what happens. And I say see what happens. What's nice about starting off with 5 lines is you're already starting off at the positive before you reduce it. So with that in mind, I'm just going to go ahead and plot it the way I see it and see if my theory has been correct. Now you're wondering, why didn't I go on this side or this side? Why? Is because the pattern is a 26, there's another 26, there's a 30, right? There's another 28 and a 29. So it's already occurring, and I want to go ahead and try to keep exploiting that to the best of my ability. Now the 12 is not covered, but it is repeating once again up here. So let's see if we can further exploit that on what side of the wheel. I'm going to put it on this side. Why? Okay, I know this might sound silly. Well, I'm going to do it that side. I'm going to do it right here. But keep an eye on this, because that's also a thought. Now, if you're kind of wondering what to do and don't know where to place your unit, continue on with the 5 line. But in this case, I'm going to just keep going here. And the other side I'm going to do it on, I don't need to pick a medium. Because I'm going to put it right, no, I need 4. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place it right here. Why? Is that's where I previously thought the ball could land. Now say the word could, see, there we go with that. So in that case, what I do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double it. And 90%, or I'm sorry, 85% of the time, based on my spins, I found that on the the next win, or the next spin after a loss, is going to produce a win, so 85%. That's why I'm also very comfortable with doing a 3-tier on this, because it's a very rare occurrence, at least in my experience. I can't put the percentage on that because I haven't added them up yet, but it happens very infrequently. Therefore, that higher tier, in this case, the 60 tier, wouldn't be used that much at all. And when you do win at that level, it pays for that previous, and I think altogether you're only at a total of, I think it's a 15 or 20% loss from where you were prior to the loss that started. So that one took care of itself, all right. And there's a 14. Okay, remember we talked about that line, keeping an eye on it. Now, my goal rate at this is $140. Let's talk about discipline here, okay? Think about it. How many spins did I do utilizing this strategy theory? I don't know. I didn't count. We'll call it 10. I've been playing this approximately 3-4 minutes, which equates to about 20 minutes at a roulette table. Okay. Having said that, it would make me very happy and proud if when you practice this, you can build the habit of the discipline in walking the hell away. And with this in your mind, you just won, in this situation, $170 in 15-20 minutes of being at a casino. Take it, put it in your pocket, and get the hell out of Dodge. Take a break. You know, and with that, I'll tell you about how I do my money management. My goal is to always double my original session bankroll. Any more than that, I don't want to stretch it, because I'm pushing, once again, I'm pushing the envelope of the possibility of that streak, in a sense, quote unquote, coming to an end. Alright? Some people believe in streaks and they don't. I'm here to tell you they happen all throughout life. That is what it is. If you disagree, then you're entitled to that. I don't agree. Aside from that, I carry 2 safes with me. They're little metal things. They're about the size of a wallet that have a key. You can get them on Amazon. I might put a link below and all of this. I don't know. Maybe I will. And it needs a key. So you leave the keys in your hotel room, right? So you're strolling around town. You have about 5 sessions that are needed, or 4 sessions, which is what I recommend, in your pocket to play the games. Every time you win and you're up double, you stick it in there safe and you forget about it, because you can't get to it, right? One of them that I have is for my roulette, and the other one I have is for craps. I have separate bankrolls that I keep in each alternate pocket for each game that I play. So my roulette and my safe goes in my right pocket, and the craps on the left. All right, that's how I do my money management. It locks up your winnings, and it keeps you from digging. Now, based on all my sessions, I really truly don't think you're going to need to leave the hotel with any more than 2, maybe 3 sessions. Why? Is I have yet to have a full losing session. Now, actually, I take that back. I had 2 or 3 maybe altogether in the past ones that I've done on this, what I call chasing the numbers. Okay. So having said that, that one loss that I have that I posted, and it's called Fun with Chasing the Numbers. I don't know what number I put it on. I think it was 3, I don't remember. But I lost $80. Now, did I lose my full bankroll? No. Because in my mind I acknowledged that the wheel that I was playing with at the time was not in a pattern that I wanted. So I, left with money in my pocket. I considered it, and I didn't chase it. Again, please discipline people. And if you watch that video again, that's called The Dangers of Online Gambling and my story on discipline, it'll really open your eyes, and I hope it does. I'm going to bring this to a close here. I've kind of given you the right idea on how it works. I found it to be successful. Again, board is a distraction. People play black and the red, which only pays 1 unit. They go into a martingale system, and they lose their butts. Because sequences, again, patterns happen. Patterns of blacks and patterns of reds that happen extensively can seriously wipe out a person's martingale system. The one that I use technically only needs a double of once. Why is 85% of the time I'm going to win back my previous, or get back to the previous state. Let me go ahead and pause this. I need to go ahead and take this. Hang on a second. Okay, where was I? Oh, I'll just go ahead and finish with this. I would hope that you would get the discipline within yourself and your training to go ahead and make it an ability to double your bankroll and take off, so you don't get those bad patterns that inevitably happen. With that, I could suggest you build up that bankroll that you've had of your winnings and use that to move up a tier. Okay, this normally wouldn't be a tier I'd work with. Yeah, I take it back, I probably would. But if you were working with a lower tier, let's say 5s and 10s and 20s, then you're going to need a significantly smaller bankroll. And if you move it further, you can even do 2, 5, and 10, which would, start you out at $100. And I think this trip I'm taking October, before I go to Thailand, I'm going to start with a lower tier on, I don't know, a little machine, and then work up. I kind of have a nice goal of being able to turn $100 into over 1,000. So anyway, sounds like a crazy thought, but test this out for yourself and see if it's viable. I think there's a possibility you can do this with a $300 bankroll starting at your 2 5s and 10s, no problem. Anyway, this is an extensive video, I know. I hope you've watched the whole thing, and if you have, thanks. Now here's another thing. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I know it sounds cheesy. With me, I don't care about making money on YouTube. I don't care. What I like doing is sharing a hobby with somebody else and hoping it's going to be a success for them as much as it is for myself, because I think it'd be cool. Now think about this. Everybody has a dream of breaking Vegas, right? If this is on target and you're starting with the 5 lines, building up a small little bankroll before you go to the 4 lines, we could do it. And I think it'd be awesome if 5,000 of us were hitting the world and just having fun. And with that, you'll be able to get updates on videos I'm going to be doing with my testing. Again, every theory is just a theory, or every strategy is still a theory. But of course, like I mentioned earlier, playing with an actual wheel is most important. So I'm going to break out my little wheel, do some real testing, and make some videos of that, and then I'm going to go live. Now with me, I'm not a technical person. I'm kind of brain dead most days. If you watch my other videos, you can see I'm scattered and I'm just all over the place. And that's just what happens within my brain. I'll just mention this. I had an incident in the Marine Corps that kind of left me with some brain troubles. But enough of that. Anyway, hope you liked it. Hope you guys have a great day and a better tomorrow. And if you like, comment after you've tested it, or get a hold of me via email and share with me your experience. You guys have a great day again and a better tomorrow. Take it easy.